So next is we have logic functions. Logic functions are pretty powerful because you could place in conditions, and we'll go through multiple examples on how you can use this to your advantage. Let's start with AND. So this one, AND, it takes in a list of conditions. So it could be any number. You're not limited to 1. It could be 10. It could be more than that. So what AND does is, you can see here, this is what we call actually a truth table. So what you can see over here is if you combine these two values with AND, then this is the result. So you can see over here, I'm actually using AND, and then I'm just ANDing these two values. So what you can see is, so over here, so we have true and true, false and false, false and true. And the main logic of AND is it needs everything to be true, and then it will give you a result of true. Otherwise, it will always give you false. Okay? So let me go through that again. For AND, everything needs to be true, and it will give you true. Otherwise, it's always false. Okay? So just to give you an example, we have this date, January 11, 2015. And then let's say I have a condition. So you can see here, I actually have two conditions. So this is the first condition, and this is the second condition. Okay, so what I'm saying over here in this condition is, okay, I want to check if the year of the date is 2015 and the month of the date is January. Okay, so I want to check again if the year of the date is 2015 and the month is January or 1. Okay, so I have two conditions over here, and this comes up as true because it satisfies 1 and then 2015. So you can see over here it's true. But let us say that we have another date. Let's say, for example, that's 2/11 and 2015. Okay, and actually it automatically already has my same formula over here, and it gave me the value false, meaning that this condition of mine didn't satisfy when I tried using this date, because this is not 1, this is not January, and even though it satisfied 2015, since we're using AND, it has to satisfy everything for it to be true. Okay, so it's just saying that, okay, this one passes because it's 2015, but this month didn't pass. So I just give you a value of false. Next is count blank. Count blank is you just give it the list. So it could be individual values or it could be a range of values. So what I'm doing over here is I have 4 values. So hi, and then I have a blank, hello, and then blank. So if you use count blank over here, and I give it a range of A2 to D2, so you can see this one, it counts the number of blank cells. So you could have 2 over here. That's just empty. Okay, so the usage is, let's just type in count blank. Give it a range. So I'm just holding shift again, and I'm selecting for the first 4 cells. Okay, so you have 2. Just to demonstrate again, let's try out this usage. So I'm just trying out if this works fine. If not, then we have to use a range. Oops. So I'm just picking this one. Yep. So this is the cool thing with Excel. You could try it out as well if you have a hunch that, hey, maybe I can try this out. But it gives you hints or error messages where it says that, hey, you have too many arguments. So which means my usage of this formula is not correct. So this is another way of saying that you don't need to memorize the formula. You could just play around with it, try it out. If you forget the exact parameters, you could just have a look at the formula and also work your way through it. So it's more of just understanding the essence. Once you understand the essence, then the formula is as good as yours. So which means I need to select a range using the shift button, and it now works fine. Okay. Next is COUNTIF. COUNTIF is it's saying that in this specific range, and then you have a condition saying that count the number of values meeting this criteria in this range. Okay, so for example, over here, so let's have a look at the formula. We're saying that, okay, given this range from A2 to D2, so which is this 4 values over here, count the number of values wherein it's less than 10. So if it's less than 10, so which values are these ones? 1 and 2. Both of them are less than 10. So it immediately counts the number of values that satisfy the condition for you. So let's try it out. Count if, okay. And then we have this one over here. Let's hold shift, get the range. And I'm typing out that it should be less than 10. So how many numbers are there? So let's close it out. And it gives you 2 numbers. So for if, what we have here is we're specifying a condition. If this is true, then do this. Otherwise, do this. So what we're saying over here is if we have a condition, if this is evaluates to true, then you should do a specific action. So it's like go left if it's true. Otherwise, go right. Okay. So what you have here is let's have a sample scenario where you're scoring somebody, and that person's score is 78. And let's check the condition. Let's say our condition is if it's 75 or above, we show a pass message. If it's not, then we show a fail message. So what we have in this condition is we're saying that, hey, if A2 is greater than or equal to 75, that's our passing rate, show a message of pass. If not, show a message of fail. Okay? So let's try it out over here. So if this one is greater than or equal to 75, then we show a message of pass. Okay? If not, then we show a message of fail. So it gives you a pass. Just to show you that our formula is working fine, let's give it a different grade. Let's say we change it to 65. So it should give you a fail message. So once you enter, it now shows fail. Okay. Next is large. So large is you just give it a list and then you specify what number the formula should return to you. So you're specifying here is the nth largest number. Just to explain further, let's have a look at this example. So we have 4 numbers, 100, 250, 150, and 400. And then let's say that I want to get the third largest number. Okay, so if we want the third largest number, if we're like sorting this one, so we have 400, 250, 150, 100. So the third largest number is actually 150. So what you simply do is you place in a range of values first, a list, and then you specify so what we're specifying here is the third largest number. So it gives us actually 150. So let's try it out, large. So the cool thing with this one is your list doesn't have to be sorted or in any specific order. Excel does it for you, and then we're getting the third largest number. So we have it as 150. Max. Max is, you just give it a list, and it gives you the largest value. So over here, it's pretty obvious that the largest number is 400. So you can see over here that we're just passing a range, and Excel does the rest. So let's type in max, take your range, and you get 400 right away. Min, on the other hand, is the minimum, so it's just the exact opposite of maximum. You give it a list as well. So over here, in our 4 values, the lowest value is 100. So the usage is the same, just give it a range. Let's try it over here. Min, pick your range of values, and you get 100. Next is not. Not is more of just giving it a true or false value, and it simply gives you the exact opposite. So if it's true, it returns back false. And then if it's false, it gives you true. Okay? So just to give you an example, let's say we have this number, negative 75. So let's have a look at this condition. What we're saying here is this is a 2 greater than 0. So we're saying that this is this not positive? Because when we say greater than 0, then we're having a positive value. So we're just saying, is this not positive? And it evaluates to true, because negative 75 is actually not positive. So let's try it out. Not this one, greater than 0. So it's not positive. Okay, so that's true. So if we give it a positive number, then it should evaluate to false. Let's say 100, and it gives you false. Next is OR. OR is actually, you could think of it as related to AND. It behaves differently, but it's also used in a similar way. So what we're passing in is a list of conditions, and this is our truth table this time. And you could see that this one, true, if you combine true and false, it gives the OR function. So you can see here, OR. The OR function gives you true. If it's true and true, it's true. If it's false and true, it's also true. And the only time it becomes false is when everything is false. So for an OR condition, everything needs to be false, and it will give you a false value. Otherwise, it's always true. Okay? So let me go through that again. Everything needs to be false so that the OR formula gives you a false value. Otherwise, it will always gives you true. Okay? So just to give you an example, let's have this date over here, January 11, 2015. And then what we're placing in this condition is, okay, is the year 2015 or is the month 5? Okay? So what you can see over here is we're checking if it's 2015 or in the month of May. And one of them is true. One of them is satisfied. So that's 2015. Which is why, since one of them is true, it gives you a value of true, this OR function. Okay? So what we have is another example. What we're saying is, hey, is the year 2014 or is the month May? And both of them is not satisfied by this one, by January 11, 2015. So which is why, since both of them, everything's false, the OR formula will give you false. Okay, next is small. Small is kind of, you could think of it as the opposite, the opposite of large. So you just give it a list, and then you want to specify the nth smallest number. So instead of giving you the largest number from large, it's the opposite. We're starting from the bottom. Okay, so for example, this one over here, we have these 4 values, and then what we're telling the small function is, from this given range of values, give me the second smallest number, which is, if we sort this out, that's 100, 150, 250, and 400. So the second smallest number is 150. So let's try this function. Give it a range, second smallest number, and it gives you 150. SUMIF. SUMIF is, you give a range of values again, and then you specify a specific condition. So what SUMIF will do is, okay, given this range of values, I'll add all of the values that meets this criteria. Okay, so let's have these 4 values again. And then what our SUMIF function is, given these 4 values, sum all the values that is greater than 200. Okay, so if we list that out over here, the values that are greater than 200 is only 250 and 400. And if you add both of them together, that's 650. Okay, so SUMIF, let's pick a range, and specify the condition. Again, that's greater than 200. And that gives you 650. VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP actually is one of the most important functions in Excel. So what it does, so let's go through this one first. So we're having VLOOKUP, this value. You're looking for a specific value in this list and get me the value in this column. I think it's better explained through an example. So let's say you have a table. So this table is, we have names and then the gender of a specific person and the age of that person. Okay, so we have 3 columns over here. And then look at the usage of this one. So we have VLOOKUP caddy and then this range. So we're actually having this range as the whole table and then followed by 3. So what this means is we're looking for caddy from this table, okay, and then give me 3. 3 would mean the third column. Give me the value of the third column in this table that matches the word caddy. Okay, so actually what's happening with VLOOKUP is we're matching the value of in the first column. So we're only matching the values of caddy in here. Okay, so VLOOKUP would look at the first column. So that's where you're searching from. Take note of that. So for example, we're saying that, hey, give me, let's say I want Ron. Okay, look Ron for Ron from this array, from this table. So the Excel actually calls it as a table array. And then you want to give it a column number. So which means what specific value do you want to return about Ron? Of course, if you place it 1 is actually the name column, so it gives you Ron. But if we change it, let's say, for example, 2, this would mean that we want to get the gender of Ron, which is the second column. So it will give you male. But if you change it now to 3, then we're saying that give me the age of Ron from this table, and it will give you 28. Okay? So VLOOKUP is a very powerful formula for looking for values, let's say in a given table.